Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today, I'm playing Legacy at the request of Patreon subscriber Blandrick, and I'm playing Blandrick's Yorion Crash-Cade Rhino Elemental Control. This is a deck that existed a couple weeks in Modern before Yorion got banned. And basically what we're doing here is we're combining the 4-color Omnath deck with the Tempo Crashing Footfalls deck, and making it a Yorion deck is actually awesome because you're playing Ardent Plea on top of the Violent Outburst and Shardless Agent, which means you have increased your Cascade outlets by half. And in order to get Yorion, you've increased your deck by a third. So you're more likely, you have a higher density of Cascade spells. And because you've increased your deck by a third, you're less likely to draw one of the Crashing Footfalls, which solves one of the big problems with this deck in that this is a pretty bad draw most of the time. And from there, the opponent has to deal with your pair of 4/4 trample creatures. And while they're dealing with that, you're getting set up with Teferi, Omnath, Uro, etc. Off we go. There's a whole top end of this deck that entire decks are built around, and there's a whole bottom end of this deck that entire decks are built around, and we just get to do both. I played this deck when it was Modern legal. I'm pretty sure I 5-0'd that league. You could go back and find the tape if you want to review it. The deck was very good, probably correct to ban it, but in Legacy we get Force of Will and Uro on top of all the other stuff we were doing. Very exciting. Let's just get into this. This is Crash-Cade Elementals. The official BoshNRoll Island Ponder Keep shirt is now available for pre-order through Coalesce Apparel and will release in early December. These will sell out and take time to restock. The holidays are coming up fast. Place your pre-orders for yourself and the BoshNRoll fans in your life today. Coalesce is the best Magic apparel on the market, with awesome new designs coming out all the time. Use code BoshNRoll at checkout for 10% off your order at coalesceapparel.shop. I'm on the play in round number 1, and despite our best efforts at deck building, we have a Crashing Footfalls in the opener, and a land that comes into play tapped and doesn't do anything. I'm going to mulligan this. This is way better. I just bottom the Footfalls and play forward. I could keep the Footfalls suspended, but I think that 3 lands, Brazen Borrower and Force Blue card, or Omnath Force Blue card, are better than the threat of suspended Rhinos. If I kept this as a 7, obviously I just suspend the Rhinos. Opponent's on a Flooded Strand strat. I'm not going to crack a fetch yet. I don't know if they're a Wasteland deck. I don't really have anything I need to do with these lands yet. Uro's an insane pickup. Love that for me. Yeah, I think I do want to round out my Triome action here. If I just get Rockrin and Indutha here, that gets everything. Rockrin, Indutha. Opponents over there showing Bowmaster, and Ardent Plea just suddenly more exciting than the Uro anyway. Let's party. Crashing Footfalls get in there. Reveal a large chunk of my deck to my opponent. Rhinos are here. I have a permanent with Exalted. If they kill 1 Rhino, I'm still bashing for 5. 1 down. 2 for 1 achieved. I'm not going to be Force of Willing random Swords to Plowshares on my Rhinos here. No thanks. I got gas in the tank. I got some sort of Esper strategy emerging across the table. I will force Teferi Time Reveler. Yep, there it is. Force pitching. I think the Brazen Borrower is the worst thing I have going on here. Nice. Got away with that one. Boseiju. I could just shove Omnath here, or I could get Uro going and try to have a land to go with the Omnath next turn. An opponent made it clear they're not in a great spot to answer stuff. So green, red, white, blue. Okay, yes, it is all there. Okay, get in there, big Omnath. I think if they had a Force of Will, they would have used it on the Teferi. This at least cantrips on the way in, and now I'm holding up Force again. Ka-chow, in for Exalted. And this is the squeeze this deck puts opponents in. Like, if they know I'm an Omnath deck, do they even plow that first Rhino? But if you don't plow the Rhino, you're taking a million. I think that Uro is worth more than Omnath here. I'm just going to let that resolve, even though I could counter it. If I just had mana up or a worse blue card, that's one thing, but neither of those are the case. I'm going to start with combat. Opponent takes another crunch for 8 here, or 5. They take 5 down to 8. They did not get crunched for 8. Green, blue, colorless, Uro, get in. Maybe it's better to just hold up Force Negation here, but I'm pretty hyped. Yeah, there's the Bowmaster. We read that on turn 3 and went with the Cascade instead. This is a creature, but my creature tramples. Cool. Okay. I will put the land into play, and then I can also play Otawara and hardcast Force if I need to. Uro goes away, play Otawara. I could also put Yorion in my hand. I think it's suspicious if I don't. Okay, blue, green, blue, blue, green. I need to double up on green here to make sure I can't get wastelanded off Uro next turn. I'll put Yorion in hand. Okay, go. Despite Orcish Bowmaster ambushing cantrip, I'm still at 25 life. I still have the biggest creatures on the board. Knowing they're a Teferi deck's pretty annoying, though. This card's insane against Cascade strategies. Just the one with Bowmaster coming through. Oh, that's not actually good. Is this good? You're bouncing a Bowmaster with Teferi generally sucks. Okay, I'm just going to attack first. See what they want to do about it. I can't bounce the Orc Army because then Teferi dies and they just get another Orc Army. They take 3 trample here. Ooh, but there's more. Another Bowmaster. Okay. Glad I didn't try to Teferi here. They're dealing 1 to my Rhino. That's still only 4. Do they have a 3rd Bowmaster? Nope. Exalted coming in strong here. But if I escape this Uro, they do get to kill the Rhino. I think the play here is just Teferi and plus. Plus Teferi. Now I can force some negation stuff with impunity. They're going to have to chump with Bowmaster and starting next turn. Oh, Stoneforge Mystic. All right. That's a powerful one. That's a step towards stabilization, I guess. Umezawa's Jitte, please cast that right now. Oh, yeah. They might have a scarier equipment, but with Stoneforge in play, and they're clearly some sort of creature core deck here, I might not get anything else to force this game. And now they have to navigate my giant life total, my giant Teferi, my giant trample creature, and the known Yorion in hand. They've sent damage at Teferi. Okay. Which means Stoneforge has to chump. Is there a Mystic Sanctuary in this deck? I can't imagine there is. No, there's not. Okay, good. Good deck building, Blandrick. Just making sure. They have to block here. I was a little worried when they got Jitte that they already had the Cauldron in hand. Okay, they go to 2 here. I can escape Uro now, and they'll get an Orc Army, and they get to deal 2 damage to something, but it doesn't kill my creatures. Plus Teferi. I believe this is worth doing. Okay, they're just conceding to the Uro mana. Yep, good enough. Cool, that was a handling. Certainly Fury looks good here. I don't really want Force of Negation in my deck, but I'm also really worried about Teferi Time Raveler. But the Furies I'm bringing in also answer Teferi Time Raveler, kinda. I could shave 2 Ardent Pleas and 2 Forces and just hedge against Teferi by having just slightly less Cascade in my deck, which is still an important part of the deck, don't get me wrong, but I think this is a safe hedge. I still have 10 of that effect, and now I have more ways to answer things like Bowmaster. I'm in. Convinced myself. I've got a 2-lander here. It does cast Fire. It doesn't cast Ice. It does cast Solitude. We're not close to Omnath. We didn't see Wasteland last game, but my opponent's deck is the type of shell that would have Wasteland in it. Actually, neither of my lands cast either of the pips into Teferi. Yeah, this needs too much to go right. I'm going to mulligan. This hand looks similar, but I actually like it better. I'm going to keep this, and this might be a hand where I'm actually more interested in suspending a Footfalls than having a Solitude. Okay, I'm going to bottom the Solitude. Solitude's just a 100% later situation, where Crashing Footfalls, I could get something going now, and then this hand of Force and removal spells can get to work. Cycling a Lorien Revealed. Getting an Underground Sea. There it is. Rhinos tick down. A Plateau, cool. That gives me 3 land types, and then Flooded Strand can get the rest. I think I start with the Flooded Strand, and this can get a Triome that just rounds me out completely. Wasteland confirmed. I'm not fetching a Triome. I guess I'm just not fetching it all then, if that's how we're going to be. Don't have to be rude about it. There is one of each non-swamp basic in the deck, and I am weirdly equipped to play on those at this time. Storm, yep, can't interact with that meaningfully. They do have the Lorraine Reveal to shuffle, and they're getting an Underground Sea. Still 7 cards over there in that hand. Nobody's really blinked on anything yet. Here's this jerk. I think I force it. Force pitching, force, I imagine. Like, I could let it resolve and then Leyline bind it, but then if they force me, I can't fight back. Where if they force now, I can just untap and bind it. I could have also force pitch Brazen Borrower, put Yorion in hand to force again next turn. But then if they win the fight on Teferi now, I have a completely blank Force of Will in my hand. They're forcing me back, pitching Flusterstorm. They tap the blue mana, and then realize that Flusterstorm doesn't get it done. And yeah, Teferi's going to resolve, unfortunately. And they are immediately drawing a card. I thought about flashing in Brazen Borrower, but then they just 100% bounce it. My Footfalls is on 1. I need the Teferi out of play now. Oh, this Omnath is so tempting, but I am going to Leyline bind. The Indatha Triome is actually the only swamp. There's no Bayou here. Just checking for a scrub land or anything. I'm trying to see if I can Leyline binding and put Yorion in my hand this turn. I'm probably a little short. Yeah, no scrub land, no Bayou, no Underground Sea. It is just the Indatha Triome, which I think is fine for deck construction. It's just currently a bummer. In that case, I'll just do it off basics. Leyline binding. Oh, they're doing something. Spell Pierce, I'll pay. I'll get the Plains, I guess. Okay, if they also have Daze here, that's a bummer. They must be working up to something. They wouldn't just put Spell Pierce in the graveyard. Yeah, okay. Alright, they're going to win the war over Crashing Footfalls here. Daze and Wasteland in this deck. Glad I didn't shove Omnath. Brainstorm. There's the Wasteland. Now I gotta find another mountain before I can fire the Omnath. Crashing Footfalls, a blank. Every Cascade spell in my deck, a blank. Oh no! Well, I guess I'll put Yorion in my hand. This is the thing I was worried about. I did have multiple answers to it in my hand. They just had them under control. And they're starting the Ponder train. They got 3 cards in their hand, plus whatever Ponder comes up with. They're in pretty good position here, if I can't get something going quickly. They did not shuffle the Ponder. They came up with another Wasteland. And Narset, gross. Oh, Narset, no activation. Spooky. Oh no, another Crashing Footfalls. Do I even do anything here? Do I just pass the turn? I could Brazen Borrower the Narset, make them recast it, but then my Brazen Borrower is gone. Guess I want to try to do, like, literally anything here. I'll Brazen Borrower the Narset. They didn't use her, so this isn't card negative yet. Teferi's back up to 4. Now he's just got to bounce in the tank. Brainstorm. Maybe I'm supposed to suspend this Crashing Footfalls with my leftover green, and obviously it's unlocked now, but my whole plan is to remove this Teferi anyway. This gives me 4 turns to do it. Stoneforge Mystic. Yuck. And they went for Batterskull, Indatha Triome. Alright, I'm good. We can just play the next game. I don't need to grind this out. We're not dead, but it's not good. I think my sideboard plan is still fine. Knowing that they're a Daze deck. Does that change anything? In Wasteland confirmed, but I already suspected it. And 100% on Daze. Hey, I'm just going to run it back. Okay, another turn 1 suspend. I will keep this hand, though. It does enough. Or at least threatens to do enough. It actually does very little. It suspends a Rhino, then casts a Teferi. And then I have this Solitude and Fury that might do something someday. But if they Wasteland me at any point before turn 4, that's a turn that they're not casting Teferi, which is my #1 concern in the world. And if they do have a turn 3 Teferi, that gives me a 1-turn window to answer it before my Rhinos are showing up. I'm going to play the Flooded Strand and pass here. They have the same plan. I hate to shove Teferi into Spell Pierce Daze, but I might have to here. And I think I want to fetch my Rocker and Triome right now. There's not a Wasteland in sight, and I need white mana anyway. The double red for Fury is going to be nice. Doing something in the upkeep. Brainstorm, okay. That's an interesting time to brainstorm. What are they worried about right now that they weren't worried about on their turn? Just playing around Force of Negation. A basic island. I'm just going to jam Teferi. I'm here to jam. Hate to shove this into the Daze and Spell Pierce that we've all seen, but gotta soften them up somehow. If they Daze, they're not casting Teferi this turn. If they Force, it's a force they don't have to fight over my Fury or Footfalls. But if they counter this untap, shove their own Teferi, they're going to get a ton of value. If I don't draw a red card to Fury the Teferi, or if they just plus it, I'm in trouble. They do have the Daze, which means they're not going to have Teferi next turn, but it also means I don't have Teferi. I'm more worried about their Teferi than mine, though. Then they cycled Lorien for an Underground Sea in the end step. Alright, deck. Let's come up with something here, something to do. Fire Ice, what's up? Okay. I'm going to ice their Tundra in the upkeep, and then they can't Teferi. Unless they Force of Will. End step, something's happening. Bowmaster, okay. As much as I'd love to fire this jerk, and icing the land is going to result in an extra trigger, I still am more worried about Teferi than anything else that's happening right now. Ice your Tundra. There it is. Tempo Gamer. I get another ping here, but I've done my job. I can put Crashing Footfalls on the stack next turn and then shove a Fury. You get in for 3. Spell Pierce and Flusterstorm aren't enough for this thing. Something's happening, though. Spell Pierce and Flusterstorm will get it. Was this Dovin's Veto? There's blue-white in the pool. What are we doing here? Oh, Drown in the Lock. They switched it. Okay, that's effective. And please don't have a Daze. What do I need to double up on here? I have triple blue, double red. I need another white, actually. I'm just not even casting Solitude with what I have. I'm going to get Savannah here. Is that better than Plateau? I think so. Savannah. I am choosing to ignore Daze. I could put Yorion in my hand, wait a turn, but I'm just hoping I have them tapped out. And I do. Out of interaction. Giant creature in play. Narset, Parter of Veils. Okay. Spell Pierce. Not going to help here. I'm untapping into my Force of Will. And now I got 2 of them. I think Ottawa is better as a land here. We've seen large amounts of soft counters in their deck, including the Spell Pierce that they just face up put in their hand. I am dealing with Narset here and then not putting Yorion in my hand. I think Hardcast Force or Pitch Force, Cast Solitude. I think all those are better than just having Yorion right now. Okay, I would have to pitch the Force here because we know about Spell Pierce. Okay, force that. Maybe because we knew about Spell Pierce, I wasn't hardcasting Force anyway, and I should have put the Yorion in my hand. I don't know, it feels bad to waste 5 mana there. In for my big hits. Alright, take 6. Clearly don't have an answer here, or that would have happened. I will put the Yorion in my hand now. Not that a Teferi bounce is a great answer to Fury anyway, but Teferi locking down the 2 forces in my hand, just... If Teferi's going to answer my 2 forces anyway, why not just pitch my Force to it? A Bowmaster, okay. Another Teferi, disappointing. Okay, they've got a lot of this guy. Bouncing Fury is kind of a rough sell here, though. If they don't come up with a Force of Will or the Furo on the way back down, they just lose all their permanents. But if they do have it, they're in really good shape. They're attacking me with Bowmaster. They haven't bounced the Fury yet. I wonder if they're going to try to do something clever like bounce their own Bowmaster and get an extra chump blocker in. Oh yeah, they are. Cool. Alright. Legal. My deck does not play Brainstorm or Ponder. I'm going to crack my fetch here. I was going to say I'm not going to get Indoth Triumph because I'd rather cycle it, but Scalding Tarn doesn't get that land anyway, so we were in no danger of making the wrong decision. I like Plateau here. I think that triples up all my options. Ley Line Binding, you don't say. If I just bind the Teferi first, I can go face in combat, and then I can also Solitude some shit. I can also force some miserable action on Yorion. Oh, that's fun. If I bind the Orc army, attack Teferi, they have to Bowmaster first. It might be right to just Spell Pierce this so I can't double spell. Okay, I'm going to attack Teferi now. They actually do need Daze or Force to do anything good here. There's that Bowmaster again. I think if something is going to get dazed or forced, I'd actually prefer it to be Yorion to Solitude because the life gain is such a big deal. But if this resolves, they're in trouble. Oh, yeah. Fury get out, and I guess I'll flicker the binding, even though all their permanents are going to be gone. I'll just double up to be sure. Make sure to stack binding first, which means Fury is over it, and all their stuff is gone, and nothing actually ends up under the binding. Better to kill these things than to tuck them under a removable permanent. Okay, pressure's on. That Spell Pierce is not going to help you here. Brainstorm, uh-oh. I don't know if this creature deck would play Supreme Verdict, but it would be really good here if they do. Stoneforge Mystic, alright. Solitude's got that. They went for Batterskull. That is a castable creature, even without the Stoneforge. They did have a plow. Okay. Ooh. Risky business here. I'm going to attack. Attack you. And I'm going to Violent Outburst before damage. This is actually good for 2 damage, plus the can of Rhinos I get out of it. Send it. Rhino can. Ooh, they do have a force. Pitching. Flusterstorm. Nice. Okay, they're going to go to 2 here. And then next turn I attack for 6. They put in Batterskull. I Solitude it. They go to 6, and then they take 6, which is their life total. That's my plan. I know their hand... Or, no, they brainstormed recently. They probably got rid of the Spell Pierce, so I don't actually know that they're sitting on blanks over there. It might actually be smarter if they block with Stoneforge, and then before damage, put in the Batterskull. Okay, here I come. Let's see if we got away with it. A Living Weapon trigger resolves, and then Solitude. This is exactly lethal if they have nothing. If they have something, they can go to their turn, equip Batterskull to Stoneforge, and then they're pushing for 5 lifelink, and I actually got to figure this out. Oh no, they have something. No! Yeah, that was a good one to have. Okay, they are going to lose their Orc army, but then they're going to put Batterskull onto a thing. In Fury still trades with whatever's holding the Batterskull, but then they just put it on something else. Suddenly in a medium tough spot, actually. The only card in my deck that cares about this fetch land is Omnath. That's not enough to keep it uncracked here. This is a free 5 life. They go up to 11. I go to 6. They're still hellbent over there. It's getting ugly in these streets. I'm going to fetch to 5. A Solitude, a Leyline Binding, any of that's a good deal. I'm still leaving the Endothotrium in the deck. I'd rather cycle it if I draw it. Oh, that one plays. Okay. If I bounce... Who do I bounce here? If I bounce Batterskull, they get an Orc army. Then they can activate plus re-equip next turn, and then just... I'm dead. This is good. I just have to figure out what I'm doing with it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe I bounce Solitude. I could just send the Fury and see what they want to do about that. If they want to take the trade, I'll let Solitude do my talking. A Batterskull is so much better than Cauldron in this situation. Okay, I am going to attack with just the Fury. I will take the trade if they offer it, and the best case scenario is they chump block with Orc and keep their big creature. Oh, bouncing Leyline Binding is way better than bouncing Solitude. Right, I kept this binding around specifically for the reasons of there's nothing under it. Here's Teferi. I am going to bounce the binding to get an Orc army, probably kill Teferi with it. But I do have a window where I can resolve binding when they have when I still have Teferi, because that's how the rules work. Reason Borrower. Okay, I'm going to Leyline Bind in response to this Orc trigger. I'm going to exile the Batterskull. That is the card I'm worried about, not the Stoneforge Mystic, not the Orc. Teferi dies. But, okay. If I had done all that pre-combat, I could have attacked with Solitude too. Yeah, maybe I just forgot that that Prismatic Ending was there until mid-combat. And then I have another interactive spell in my hand. Yeah, I don't see any attacks here. If the one card in their hand is Kaldra, which is the card I'd be worried about attacking into... Oh, I drew another binding. Alright, now we're just... The rich get richer here. I'm sending the squad. You look pretty dead to me. I can Brazen Borrow or Germ Token. Leyline Bind whatever I need to. Ooh, committing to a double block. Yeah, that's fine. I'll take it. That's a 2-for-1, and I have lethal on board with 2 removal spells and a backup threat in my 2-card hand. If they Teferi bouncing a Leyline Binding, that's pretty effective. Narset can resolve. Narset can activate. And they're just scooping it up. Cool, cool, cool. That was a fun little grindy end game there. Some nice limited combat math coming up in our high power game of Legacy. Love when that happens. On to the next round. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the play in round 2. I'm going to keep my hand. It needs land number 3, but welcome to Cascade strategies. I like that I can pitch Solitude in an emergency. I don't like that I don't have Force, but it's fine. I even have the instant speed Rhino can. The opponent is on 6 cards, and I am playing my Misty Rainforest and passing. I have no intention of cracking this fetch land. I want to maximize the number of lands to draw in my deck. A mountain and a pass. Concerning. Haha! I played around your Blood Moon perfectly. I'm pretty sure I recognize this name, especially paired with this basic mountain as a known Stompy gamer. Like initiative and shit. You know, it's pretty good against the initiative, though. 2 4/4s. I'm going to Solitude this dickhead. I just don't want this around, so it doesn't have to be. Still not cracking my fetches. I think dual lands will go fine. I don't have to go for... The Ardent Plea is tempting, but I think if they commit to an initiative creature, it's better if I surprise them with what I'm doing. There's Big Adventure Boy. So my creatures have Trample, and so far they've only shown me mono red. End of turn. Fetch for... Do I bother with basics? Oh, I'm about to get to search for another basic. So I get basic forest here plus Tundra. That's all my colors. And then I can search for the island or plains. Here comes the party. One of the times I played dedicated Rhino Stompy on this channel, I was playing against the initiative, and they had a turn 1 Archon of Emeria, and in response, on their turn 1, I hadn't even had a turn yet, I made a bunch of rhinos. That was awesome. Okay, attack with my creatures. I suspect they won't block. Oh, interesting. Do they have removal, or maybe they just can't take 8? All right, I'm a little surprised by that. I thought they would want to race at least a little bit, but they know what's in their hand better than I do. I'll grab the basic island, and I think just adding Ardent Plea and another can of rhinos to the board is better than trying to do any Uro shit here. Just pile this deck up. If you've got a main deck sweeper that could kill X4s, you deserve it. And I have the initiative. Yeah, okay, they're just cool. Toasty, I liked that a lot. Force of Negation, absolutely. Fury, absolutely. Force of Vigor, probably. In Chalice on 0, just Dumpster is the best part of my deck against their deck. This is a lot of cards coming in. I gotta find what I'm willing to cut here. Omnath pitches to everything, but is himself kind of hard to do anything with in an aggressive matchup that likely contains Blood Moon. Brazen Borrower I like a lot. Fire Ice is kind of mid. It does kill a Goblin Rabblemaster 1-for-1 on turn 2 as I work up to turn 3. It also has text when I'm being Blood Mooned. Leyline Binding, unconditional removal just seems so good. Teferi is mid, but it does pitch to the full 8 forces that are in my deck. I'm not really without blue cards, though. That's not a problem. If I were to stop here, it would be these 6, and then do I want any number of Force of Vigor on top of it? Because I do have 4 Brazen Borrower, 4 Leyline Binding, 2 Boseiju, and access to basic lands. All right, let's lock in this, and then talk about Force of Vigor. There's still 1 Omnath in the deck. That card is not really beatable if it gets going, but also it's hard to get going. The whole pitch to everything part is pretty cool, too. I could shave a Crashing Footfalls, and I don't think this game's going to go long enough that I need 4 of those, and if I happen to draw 1, I could still Cascade twice. I don't want to shave any Cascaders because those are how I pull ahead in this matchup. I think a Force of Negation can go out for another Force of Vigor. this is 7 force of blues and then 2 force of greens. A lot of these decks are on Magus of the Moon and not Blood Moon. Okay, I like this hand. I'm going to keep it. If they turn 1 Blood Moon me, it could be difficult, but I have the turn 2 Brazen Borrower into turn 3 Cascade spell, and I can do most of it on basics. Chrome Mox, okay. I'm a little scared. Chalice on 0. Okay, cool. The Chalice on 0 does lock out... Oh, another Brazen Bee. Life is good. I'm going to play the Flooded Strand, because that one can get basic... Actually, interesting. Misty Rainforest. Like, if they play a lock piece here, that's not Blood Moon. I would rather have access to green. Or if they do Blood Moon me, I can still... No, I gotta deal with the Chalice before I can do anything. Okay, never mind. I was about to say that if I have green, I can just Violent Outburst through a Blood Moon. But that's not even true with the Chalice. Ooh, they were all in on this turn 0 Chalice. There is a rowdy option here of bouncing their Chrome Mox, and it's locked out from their own Chalice, and they already put 2 cards into it. That doesn't let me Rhino on turn 3, though. Okay, I will just act normally. It's possible that they have Pyroblast, but I do have 2 ways to check the Chalice. They suddenly found action. Okay, this card's pretty good. I'll see if my 2 Rhinos can get ahead of it. Play draw matters a lot here, though, obviously. I'm going to get the Island and the Forest. I'm going to leave the Mountain in the deck, because that doesn't play around Blood Moon anyway, and I would like to draw a card when I get the initiative. Bounce the Chalice. I don't really want to main phase anything into a Fury. I guess I just pass the turn here. And it's quite clear what I'm up to, but I'm not going to let them Fury a Rhino if I can avoid it. Forge makes their thing bigger than mine. Oh, right, they had the Chalice anyway. It didn't matter. They could just force the action for free at all times. Never mind. Sometimes you think you're smart, but you're actually not. Plateau and Can of Rhinos. Here they are. 4 cards in their hand. Oh, because I had Violent Outburst, I actually do trade with Caves of Chaos Adventurer. That's neat. Forgot about that. Yeah, I'm going to do that if it's available. They flipped Dead Gone. Shit. What a stupid card for them to flip right now. Now I have to double block to get a trade. And then they still have the initiative. I would rather keep a Rhino, take the initiative, and then I can bounce this pal. I'm down for the slugfest here. There's the Gone from Exile. And do they have a Fury? Hate my life. We did correctly read Red Blast. Okay, now we're in trouble. Of course they flipped a friggin' removal spell. Arrgh! Enraged. This is a 7/5. That's too big. I can... Oh no, I'm just dead. Okay. I was about to say I could play Brazen Borrower, but I only had 1 turn to operate there. And my opponent did a better job drawing cards than me. Okay. I think I win that game on the play, which is good news, because that's where I am for this one. Chalice of the Void confirmed. They're willing to keep sketchy hands on the strength of it confirmed. They have Pyroblast in their deck confirmed. Now I'm actually just way higher on Force of Vigor than Force of Negation. Just going to flip 1 more of those. Okay, keep. I can Leyline Bind a thing, and then I can make a Can of Rhinos. And none of the important parts are blue. I'm going to use Wooded Foothills to fetch Rockrin Triome here. Den of the Bugbear. Going to get the Rockrin Triome. I'm going to just ignore Blood Moon at least a little bit, as much as I can. Windswept Heath can get Indatha Triome or Basic Plains in this position. And Basic Plains can answer a Blood Moon eventually. There's mana number 3. Trinisphere. Well, my spell will still cost 3. Guess that happens. That was the correct answer to what I'm presenting here. I'm still going to ignore basic lands and just get my business set up right now. It's answer Trinisphere this turn, untap, make a thing. Let's hope it's not too late by then. Fable of the Mirror Breaker, that's fine. End step, time to start getting basics, I think. I'm going to get Island now, and then I'll play Flooded Strands. That could get Plains next turn. Or I think Forest is actually more important than any of these. That activates Beseiju. I would like to cast Fury at some point in this game, though. All right, whatever. I'm just getting a forest. Leyline Binding. Wipe out the Trinosphere. Violent Outburst, what's up? That's great. Okay, red, green, etc. I now have an instant speed thing, and unlike the Chalice last game, if they want to commit back to the Trinosphere here, it's going to cost them their turn, and then I outburst over the top of it, and then they can't Fury me. Or wait, no, I didn't bounce the Trinosphere. It's under the thing. Okay. They still get to attack. I would like to interact with this thing in combat. Putting one of these in front of the Goblin does make, like, Fury plus Dead clear my board. But I also just don't want to take a bunch of damage I don't have to, or give them multiple treasures when their mana base is almost entirely City of Traders right now. I can also hardcast Fury next turn. There's the Dead. Okay. You're also going to pitch a Fury. Okay. Like, I did identify this, but I have 2 more cans of Rhinos in my hand. And that cost 3 cards and their whole turn to do. Ancient Tomb. All right, they did have more. Okay. Here's this thing. I can just cast Fury into this. And then they have 2 cards left in their hand. Is Fury better? I think removing the Caves of Chaos Adventurer is worth doing. I'm going to give up on basic plains. I'm going to get Volcanic Island, or do I want Plateau? I already have white. I do not have blue, but I will. Yeah, Volcanic Island is fine. Okay, Wooded Foothills doesn't fetch a meaningful basic here. I'm just going to Fury their creature and pass the turn. They get to go into Lost Well. I guess they could Forge. They just have to decline. If they Fury me back here, it's a little annoying, but I can drop 4 Rhinos into play next turn. And now they're not down the damage line. They top that. That's Scry. I hate that. There's the land we knew about. Magus of the Moon. That showed up right on time. Can I draw another Fury to clean this thing out? Yes, I can. Or well enough, it seems. Okay, so I'm going to Wooded Foothills, fire the Magus, and then Ardent Plea. I'm going to make sure I have the correct mana. So I should actually tap the forest here. Fire your Magus. Then Ardent Plea gives me an extra 2 damage off Fury. White, blue, colorless. I don't like them having an active reflection of Kiki Jiki. Things could get weird. But I am pummeling here. I could certainly lose this game. And there is still another... Oh, right. I get the initiative here. I forgot that was even happening. I do have access to that. Cool. All right, I'm going to grab the basic Plains. Or is Plains better than Island? Because Island casts Shardless Agent, and this Wooded Foothill doesn't fetch a meaningful basic anymore. Okay. Literally forgot the initiative was in the game. Okay, they have 5 mana here. If they cast a Fury, that's really good. I hope they don't have Spirit Guide to copy it right away. That would be such a nut last 2 cards in your hand. Okay, they appear to be passing. And I'm going to fetch in my upkeep. Oh wait, there's a pause in their end step? Oh my god. I was like, are they end step copying a Fury? I'm just going to get Savannah here because I can't get any meaningful basics anyway. Do I want to Forge onto Fury? Or I think I'd rather Forge onto the Trample creature. Yeah, that makes both of these creatures lethal. Yeah, okay. Forge onto the Rhino. And, okay, I'm going to attack, and if they've been sandbagging Simian Spirit Guide, they're going to blow me out, but otherwise they're going to have to block with all their creatures. And we are just straight into blocks here. That's good news. Okay, all their shit's dead, and they're at 2. I like that. Okay, for the first time in my entire life, I'm feeling comfortable about this game. Let's just add 2 more Rhinos to the board. This turns off that Den of the Bugbear or a Rabble Master or anything from getting the initiative. And pop Yorion in the old grip. Okay, pass the turn. They are just dead in my upkeep if they don't take the initiative. And Trinosphere. GG. I do love the Rhino half of the game, half of this deck against decks like this one. Any sort of initiative or stompy deck, just this is such a big thing for them to have to deal with. On to the next round. If you're looking to run a CEDH or 1v1 tournament, Eminence Gaming has your back with Command Tower. With Command Tower's intuitive Tournament Manager dashboard, you can handle deck list submission and player management with just a few clicks. Players just need to scan the event's QR code for access to the full tournament bracket, including seamless pairings and real-time standing updates. Take the guesswork out of tournament organizing. Try Command Tower for your next event. I'm on the draw in round 3 with a 2-mana interactive spell into a 3-mana Temur Rhinos. I'm in. Opponent's also on 7, a Wooded Foothills to start. I am of the Legacy generation where I see Wooded Foothills and I think Stifle. Maybe that's just brainworms at this point, but I'm thinking about it. This was a trick back in the day in Canadian Threshold, which was a Rug deck. It evolved into Rug Delver eventually. The land base was mono blue, but it was all Trops and Valks. So when Wooded Foothills cast Stifle all of a sudden, it would occasionally get people. But the level system became Wooded Foothills is so obviously Stifle that then you just want to play Blooded Strand. It was a whole thing. I don't know if it's useful, but it certainly happened. Okay, I'm going to stop my opponent in their draw step next turn and decide if I need to deal with this Snoop. Wooded Foothills gets Indotha Triome, and this may or may not be a Wasteland deck. The bigger Goblin decks sometimes don't play it. Okay, I am going to deal with this Snoop. I don't want them casting any spells for free, even if it's just a little Goblin lackey. Leyline Bind. Take your Snoop. Hope I don't get Wastelanded. They're holding a Ringleader, and they're missing a land drop? Goblin Crater Maker. Okay. That thing can run headfirst into my Rhinos next turn. I'm cool with that. Pass the turn. Having the multiple sorcery speed ones is like kind of tempting, but just eating this creature for free, which is just 1000% to happen, is just really exciting to me. Ambush. Can you imagine just going about your business, being a little goblin, attacking your opponent at your master's orders, and then all of a sudden, some weird homunculi throw a bunch of rhinos at you and make them angry in the process? I guess you'd have to have a pretty chill rhino for it not to be immediately angry if it was thrown at someone. I'm not an expert in rhino temperament. Oh geez, another outburst. I'm going to attack with my 2 creatures, and then I'm going to make another 10 power. I suspect that they're dead already, but if I need the extra push of damage next turn, I'd rather actually save the Violent Outburst at this point. Opponent's over there missing land drops. Unless they can make this lackey unblockable or kill 10 toughness worth of creatures. Yeah, okay. Okay, I suspect Food Chain Goblins. The Taigas are a little suspicious, and Food Chain Goblins mercifully usually doesn't have Wasteland in it because it's trying to build up its own mana. Force of Negation, not great here. Fury is great here. I mean, Force of Vigor can hit the actual Food Chain, but I'm not super worried about that between Brazen Borrower or Leyline Binding Beseiju. I think I shaved 2 Teferis here and 2 Force of Negation, just bring in 4 Fury, and we call that a plan. The turn 1 Lackey starts are actually pretty scary, because I have Pitch Force or Pitch Fury to deal with turn 1 Lackey on the draw. On the play, I got a bunch of stuff. I like this hand. I'm going to keep, but if they go turn 1 Lackey, I'm in trouble. I can pitch Solitude also. Okay, not a Lackey. Put that right in the bank. Okay, I was going to play the Rockrin Triome. Maybe I'm supposed to suspend this Footfalls now. But if I suspend Footfalls, I'm not guaranteed 2 mana on turn 2 and 3 mana on turn 3. I'll have to take a turn off somewhere. I think it's better to just get the land down. Triomes are powerful, but they're not free, as we just learned. Okay, they're slamming some 3-drop here. Black also in the deck. There's Snoopy with Goblin Matron and another Ignoble. Okay. Once again, I'm going to stop in their draw step. I'd love to draw Fury right now. Oh, Fire Ice. I do not hate that. It's much better than Brazen Borrower for doing the exact thing I was going to try to do with Brazen Borrower. Okay, I'm going to play this Plateau, and then I'm going to go to their draw step and see what's going on top of their deck. This does create a brief window where they can activate their Snoop, but there's not a lot that I'm worried about. Okay, Cavern of Souls on top of the deck. I could fire the 2 Ignobles right now, then they can't Matron. I can fire the Snoop. Alright, I'm I'm willing to swing for the fences here and go for the 2-for-1 and ignore the Snoop. They do have land number 3. They can at least play the Matron, which does cause a shuffle. I think you want to Matron first, because what if you shuffle and Kiki Jiki's on top of the deck or something, then you can Matron again? Hey, they know their deck better than me, but I would have wanted to see if Snoop had a line here before moving cards around. Wasteland, uh-oh. Well, now we know. And what do they tutor for? Alright, they tutor for Mind Goblin, who I've learned since the last time I played with or against this card. If you kill it in response to the trigger, they don't get any mana. That's true in paper and online. Just had no freaking idea. That is almost entirely my fault for refusing to read the sticker mechanic in its entirety. The reason it doesn't work in paper is because applying the sticker is part of the trigger's resolution. And if you kill it, then that doesn't happen. It never has a name, and last known information uses a nameless thing. They also have Blood Moon here. Alright, so opponents got some hate in their heart for me in my lands. Luckily, I can put a ton of Rhinos into play over top of this Wasteland and Blood Moon. And if they're not doing, like, super meaningful Goblin stuff in the meantime, they're in trouble. They did fire the Wasteland. Red-green, Violent Outburst, while I still have mana. Crashing Footfalls, get in there. And I know they're holding, or no, they shuffled away the Cavern of Souls. All right. They don't have that. The only thing I know is Name Sticker Goblin. Here it comes. Show me a 4. A 6. Great. We're dead. Ringleader. Okay, this bottoms the Blood Moon. It also changes the top of their deck. They get a Lackey and a Matron, and there's a Tyke on top of the deck. That's not bad. That could have been worse. Another Snoop from hand. I'm now working with perfect information. The only information I don't have is what they're going to draw next turn. Or what's under their... I know what they're going to draw. I don't know what's going to be under it. Oh, Omnath. Hello. I like him quite a lot. And I'm going to fire with my Rhinoceri and see what they want to do with it. Boggart Harbinger costs 3, so they can't Matron for Harbinger and deploy Harbinger next turn and set up some kind of loop with the Snoop. The Snoop does have to be honest here, as far as I know. Okay, I have double white. I have 1 red, 1 green. I need blue for sure. Volcanic Island gets me to double red, closer to Fury, which is my best card at this point. Okay, Volcanic Island, you're the winner. Send another can of Rhinos in. I do think overwhelming this board... Well, they have 2 Snoops now. I was going to say, compared to holding up mana to maybe bounce their Snoop, but they have 2 of them, doesn't matter. Okay, please brick on this draw step Snoop, and then on the Matron Shuffle Snoop. They got 2 shots here at doing something messed up. Uh-oh. That is a good one, but it's not infinite yet, and if they use their Matron, then this is gone. But they can throw their goblins at me for 1 life apiece. I think most things that aren't Kiki Jiki are fine here. Here comes the Matron. She's going to shuffle away the Sling Gang, but she gets to tutor to the hand a goblin on purpose. Ringleader. Oh, Court of Bounty. Bold against the deck full of trample creatures, but I'm down. Down to clown if you are. Okay, they are drawing Court of Bounty next turn, and they have Ringleader in their hand. I do have a lethal attack here that they're going to have to block some amount of. And I can cast Omnath now. But if they don't respect my blocks enough, they might just die in combat here, because I have Brazen Borrower and Trample creatures. Alright, sending everybody. They have no good blocks on Chartless Agent. It's at minimum a trade here. I'm not in a hurry to bounce any of these creatures, though. Most of them have pretty potent ETBs. Okay, these are the blocks. Are they dead? 4, 8, 9, 10. I could put them to 1. Or I could just let damage resolve, Plague Win them, and play Omnath. Yeah, I don't think them being at 1 is going to be the difference maker in this game. Yeah, just jack up your squad here. They did block with exactly enough creatures, though. Heads up play for over there. And my basic forest, if I get that, I could go green, blue, white, red. Yep, Omnath is here. Green, blue, white, red. You have Goblin Ringleader and Court of Bounty with which to beat this Omnath. Oh yeah, they're good. All right, continue to just handle creature decks. Let's roll. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. I'm on the draw in round number 4 with 3 of a kind Brazen Borrowers, and then I can fire or ice on my way up to turn 3. I need a green source and I need to still be alive. Let's hope those things are true. This would be a terrible hand to have a wasteland pointed at it. Okay, there's a force. I really hope they're on combo. Blue to Delta, it's a possibility, and now I have meaningful interaction, and combo decks usually don't have wasteland. All the things I would like to come together. If they cycle a Troll of Khazad-dûm right now, I'm going to be bummed out. Lorien revealed. Okay. Searching for a tropical island. A bug deck. It doesn't mean they're not a wasteland deck. Okay. They passed the turn. I'm going to play Otawara, and I'm going to ice their Underground Sea in the upkeep. I just need a redraw here, and that's the most effective way I can do that. Ice your Underground Sea. Fetching in response, they could play Bowmaster here, and it would get an extra ping. There it is. Okay. Solid. Who put a flash creature into the format that costs the same as ice? Omnath not what I'm looking for, I'm going to be honest. I found the Ardent play, so I don't need green anymore. I just need a untapped land of any variety. A Delighted Halfling, so I should expect Leovold, maybe the One Ring, some cool Planeswalkers. Ah! Life is Pain. Petty Theft, the Bowmaster, or the Orc Army, because I'm going to have to go to clean up here. Let's just save some damage. Ponder. If opponent has Wasteland in their deck, they now know it's all hands to go find it. Chose to shuffle. Another one. Brainstorm happening as I figure out the best way to stack up my various can-be-cast boxes. Not a Wasteland. Cool. A legendary blue spell is coming. Uro. Alright, couldn't counter that one anyway. Sucker. Ah, oh no, Uro put down a Wasteland. I don't want to reveal any more of my deck. We're done. I'm cool. Another Wasteland strategy. Another creature deck. Fury's coming in. Force of Negation's coming out. We saw at least Uro. I don't know how much graveyard action I want here. Teferi seems great. Omnath. Omnath probably stinks against the Wasteland half of the deck, but this is exactly the sort of thing I want to shove after they've dealt with my Rhinos. Especially in a fair matchup like this. I got my own Uros. I got exile-based removal. Teferi seems okay. They're certain to have counterspells in their deck. Might even have Daze. But Bowmaster versus Teferi sucks. I like the Fire Ices on their face, and I like that they pitched a Fury, 2 important things. I think I'm going to shave a Teferi and a Footfalls here and run it like this. Just got to remember, if it gets grindy, that there's only 2 Rhinos in my deck. Oh, are we doing this again? 2 lands, some action off the 2 lands, and if I find the 3rd land, I'm set. Yeah, keep. And I'll just pass here. Come on, a land. Any land in my next 2 draw steps. Fingers crossed. Underground Sea, go, is what they have for me. Found the land, you're dead now. GG. Let's just go to the next one. Ignore the 7 cards in your hand. They're not important. The opponent's still playing draw go with me. Or they changed their mind. Suddenly there's a spell. They started passing. Oh, changed their mind again. I suspect they have a Brainstorm, but also a Bowmaster. That's how I'm reading this. Do I want to tap my mana or not? Question mark. Though Brainstorm they would have just passed. It's probably Ponder. Nope, JK. It was Brainstorm the whole time. Alright, you can Brainstorm. I didn't show them the Rhino part of the deck, though Fire Ice is a card that is generally reserved for decks that have weird mana requirements. You don't just like put that in 4-color control. But this is also a way more common modern deck than it is Legacy. Who knows? Anything could happen here. I might even just want to wait and play around Daze if they continue not doing anything. Because it's not like I'm jamming and then untap jamming again. Yeah, I'm just going to go to my turn. I have land drops to make. I'm a control deck. We can do this together. Shuffling in their upkeep. Getting rid of those Ponder cards. I even have Boseiju if they're suddenly in a Lauren deck. Okay, so I can go Forest, Mountain, Island here. Forest, Mountain, Island, yeah, okay. That's not great at casting my spells, but Forest, Mountain, Island, and then I can still get the plains if I need it. Violence. I was okay chilling and waiting last turn because I had land drops to make, and they weren't showing me anything that I needed to worry about. But now this Wasteland, if I just Boseiju pass, I don't really like where that game's going. Let's hope they did not sideboard with this in mind, based on seeing Rockrin Triumph die in game 1. Alright, the Rhinos are in. They could just Fatal Push it twice, which is a 2-for-1, but not how I envisioned my life. Hey, we did it. This is how I envisioned my life. End step, Can of Rhinos, make them deal with it. Follow up, Can of Rhinos. Okay, and I'm going to play the Boseiju and just use that to cast Shardless Agent. I'm going to put Lethal on board. I can bounce something with Brazen Borrower and Pitch of Solitude if there's suddenly an emergency I need to deal with. Like if they do untap and shove a Lauren. Oh, okay, now they have a Force of Will. Interesting, they were like not worried about these 2 Rhinos, but are worried about the next 2 Rhinos. That tells me that they do have some amount of fair plan in mind. But if it was just actual removal spells, wouldn't that have happened already? Oh, it's double Bowmaster. Yeah, they're just putting 2 on my Shardless Agent. Okay. Sure, this happens. The multiple removal spells in my hand, clearing blockers out from under my trample creatures, is a pretty solid follow-up to this. Carpet of Flowers, heck yeah, it pays for itself. What a deal. 2 Wastelands. Murktide, Regent. Okay. I can make that go away. And they got 1 card left in their hand. Plays attack with, like, anything. Oh, you're so dead. I guess you're not dead. You're at 1. And I don't really want to fetch into the second Wasteland here. I could just go to my turn. Yeah, they're just cracking off on Boseiju. Yeah, I don't want to give up my chance at white mana. Nice. Petty Theft, the Murktide. Get it out. Go to 1. Can't daze this shit. Okay. They are dead on board. And I still have Brazen Borrower plus Solitude, and I can cast the Solitude next turn. I get 1 big mana off this Carpet of Flowers. There's a black in the pool. We're going to see Murderous Cut, Assassin's Trophy. Okay. I do have a basic left to grab. It's a Plains. Happens to cast the Solitude that's in my hand. Even better. Ooh, another one. Alright, well, I'm out of juice on these things. Okay, opponent, you ran me out. You did it. You're still dead to my Brazen Borrower, and I know what's in your hand. End of turn. Fetch Volcanic Island and Tropical Island, and then I win. Volcanic Island, Tropical Island. Cool. Alrighty. Murktide Regent at the top end of this deck as well. Teferi I like against Murktide, but I still don't like against Bowmasters, and my deck is not soft against Murktide, it's safe to say. White Removal and Bounce is the name of the game here. Okay, right back in, send it. Now they know what's going on, though. If they play Cluster Storms or Engineered Explosives or Ratchet Bombs or any of that sort, it's going to be in at this point. Got a nice one on the draw here. Pretty resilient to Wasteland. I got the Fire Ice and the Omnath with Force backup. I like it. Tropical Island and pass is their starting turn. Yeah, keep the lands coming. As long as I don't get Wastelanded out of this game, I feel like the whole plan is in front of me. So land go from them again. Another Fire Ice. Your Bowmasters are not safe. Your Brainstorms were safe, though. I got nothing to say about that. Can't play Pyroblast in this deck. Or Bowmaster. Fetching away those Brainstorm cards in the upkeep. Fetching land number 3. They're doing something. Making a move. Might just be Uro. That would be a pretty good thing to do here. Pretty low risk. So they don't know I don't have a Rhino in my hand. Leovold, Emissary of Trust. I will try to deny that one. I don't care for this. It's just gone. Alright. I would love to draw a Rhino spell right now. A Fury. Boo. Hard to boo Fury. That's such a good card. I guess I just pop Yorion in my hand now and hope I don't suddenly die to a flurry of Wastelands and shit. A drop and Taiga. Seems like a reasonable spread. Opponent, big sigh of relief over there. I did play into Carpet slightly more than I needed to, but I think just having my colors under me, and because playing around Carpet plays into Wasteland, and whatever, they're more likely to have Wastelands than Carpets here. They probably play more of them. Oh no, Light from the Loam, we're so dead! Okay, this Loam is going to kill me. If I don't draw a Rhino spell right now, we lose. I guess that fetch land means I have to play another turn. I will continue moving forward with my life. This is another turn where I might be able to draw a Rhino spell. Yeah, Light from the Loam's a bummer. I was ready to play through a couple Wastelands, but not infinite Wastelands. There's a Wasteland. I'm going to float blue. And I am going to ice, I guess, Tropical Island. I'm just trying to cycle cards and find some Rhinos before I'm dead here. Leyline Binding. Delighted Halfling. All right, deck, come on, Rhino spell. Now's the time. Run out of chances at this. Seiju, who endures. All right, well, that's another third land. I guess I will continue pretending to play this game. And I am set up with 2 basics now. We've seen Assassin's Trophy in their deck. Bowmasters is a dick, but I can pitch Fury next turn and kill their whole board. I don't hate that. And they do have to dredge Loam to keep wasting me. Oh no, their Loam hit a second Wasteland and an Uro, so now they can Loam every other turn rather than every turn to keep wasting me, and they have a threat. Kind of wishing I brought in those Endurances. We saw Uro, we saw Murktide. If I had seen Loam, I would have for sure brought it in. I think we can wade through the creatures, but this is an insane pressure point on exactly this deck. Oh, they took a turn off wasting me. That's bold. Oh, unless they have another Uro in their hand, and they're going to waste me anyway. Yes, that's what's going on. All right, it's not bold. You're a coward. Just playing optimally. Boring. Hero was worried about that. Is this a spot? I'll finish my joke. Hero was worried about them milling Uro, but they already had one. I could... Oh, blue-green, white, blue. Leyline Binding costs 3 right now. I could at least... Oh, no. It is my plan to kill all their shit with Fury. So Leyline Binding here does not add to my game plan at all. Okay. Now my plan is to continue drawing sources of basic lands so I can get Omnath into play through a Wasteland lock. Crashing Footfalls. Okay. That's a Rhino. Play Beseiju. TikTok, MFer. You got 4 turns. And unfortunately, I have to pitch the Fury here. If their 6 cards in hand happen to contain any Force of Wills, we're in trouble. Seems like they don't, though. Put all your creatures in the graveyard. Get them out! They do have 2 Uros in their graveyard, though. And I have 2 white removal spells. I don't know. A girl can dream. Here's Uro, left Wasteland in the graveyard. Naturally. And I think I Solitude this thing pitching Yorion before it triggers because I don't want them to have Force of Will. We're in there. Okay. I'm sandbagging the Leyline Binding because resolving this card through the active Wastelands is going to be really hard. They dredged Loam off of the Uro trigger and wasted my Beseiju right away. Rhino's ticking down. You're on notice. Oh, my own Uro. Someday. If I draw a basic green source, we're cooking. Here's the Loam. They can play that Bayou, escape the Uro, put in a Wasteland off the trigger. They do have to exile the Loam to play this Uro, though. This might be the light at the end of the tunnel. If they push just extra hard here. They could take a turn off to get some extra stuff in their graveyard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, exactly. Uro here. The 2 Wastelands are in the grip, though. Alright, there it is. I cannot Leyline Bind this Uro right now. I just really have to hope I can fetch Basic Forest with my draw step. I think if I fetch a dual land here, I lose, because everything in my deck happens at 3. Come on, deck! No! Okay, well, yeah, I'd have to fetch 2 duels here. Are there 2 duels that cast Leyline Binding even? Because a bunch of these are all 1-ofs, and a lot of them got wasted. Taiga's gone. A Taiga, a Tundra, and a Trop are gone. There's only one Taiga, only one Tundra, only one Trop. They're all 1-ofs. I could get Volcanic Island Savannah here and cast Leyline Binding, and then they wasteland all of my mana sources, and I have to beat a 7-card hand. I'm good. We can stop doing this. I could technically take a hit or two from the Uro and try to figure it out, but I've clung to life. We probably lost this game on turn 3, and I did my best to cling to life here. There were 3 or 4 wide open spots to start firing Rhinos down the cannon, and we just did not have it. The Wasteland Lock is not effective against 8 power in play, which is kind of the bet you're making, and we lost that bet this time. On to the final round. The official BoshNRoll Island Ponder Keep shirt is now available for pre-order through Coalesce Apparel and will release in early December. These will sell out and take time to restock. The holidays are coming up fast. Place your pre-orders for yourself and the BoshNRoll fans in your life today. Coalesce is the best Magic apparel on the market, with awesome new designs coming out all the time. Use code BoshNRoll at checkout for 10% off your order at coalesceapparel.shop. I am on the play in the final round. Hand's got 2 Crashing Footfalls in it. That sucks. I'm going to mulligan this. I do like the Force Blue card. I don't like how soft I am to Wasteland. I don't like that I have no plan other than suspending 2 Crashing Footfalls. So I guess if I suspend, force something, get Uro going, maybe that's a plan. All right, I'll try this. We're stress testing the deck for science. My opponent's name is Psychotog, and they have Frenetic Efreet as their avatar. I'm getting old school vibes. This old school gamer. Maybe this is someone who likes to shove combo. Oh no. I needed the tropical island here to get all my colors, and Arid Mesa doesn't get that. Fine. What's the save here? I just don't have blue mana. So Arid Mesa plus Plateau is a punish. I could get the Gotha Triome. That still doesn't give me blue mana though. Yeah, Arid Mesa just doesn't fetch islands. That's the that's the problem here. The Rock Red Triumph it gets, but then I don't have green. I guess I'm just getting a Savannah and hope this works. Well, that backfired. Okay, suspending Crashing Footfalls. We've got a plan. I have Rhinos 4 turns from now, and you're dead 3 turns after that. The Rhinos tick down. Opponent with the Tundra go. Another Force I'm pretty happy about. Now I have Force Blue card, Force Blue card. That resembles a plan, maybe. I can at least make sure it's a Fairy Time Raveler doesn't resolve in the meantime. Because, oh boy, would that kill me. Come on, Blue Source. Can we do it? Oh yeah! I'm gonna get a Tropical Island. Is that still right? I need blue. And it has to be Trop or Volk. And green is more important to the Uro in my hand. I'm actually just going to put Yorion in hand rather than play Uro. Because if I could Force Blue card, and still have something to do afterwards, that's really exciting. Yeah, fuck a Bowmaster. I don't even care. That's not what this game's about. Putting Yorion in hand also plays around, giving them an extra Bowmaster trigger off Uro. Ponder. We got another Esper Orcish Bowmaster style deck. We beat one of these earlier in the league. Ponder chose to shuffle. Another Ponder. Yeah, we're getting there. It's going to be a nonstop parade of Rhinos soon. They shuffled that Ponder too. Tick, 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 tick. Next turn. Next turn they come. And I can even Brazen Borrow, bounce the Orc Army if I feel the pressure. But I don't even like that. I can just play Brazen Borrower and add to the beatdowns. Oh, Xander's Lounge. We have another Leyline Binding deck. Or at least 4 color. Yeah, I'm just going to let the damage come through and then let the Rhinos do the talking. Opponents got their work cut out for them here. Let's do it. Time to open a can. The Rhinos are in. Oh, Ardent Play. That's more Rhinos. Oh, I guess I just send that too. How many Rhinos do we think they can deal with? Because I got 6 of them. I guess the mana they have could cast Supreme Verdict. That would be pretty annoying. But they're going to have to take 16 if they want all the Rhinos. Or leave 2 behind. Oh yeah, just Swords to Plowshares, deal. Not even going to spend a force on that. Another Plow, that's fine. Basically him to Turok, that gained me 8 life. Tropical Island, 5 colors confirmed. up the beanstalk. I believe this is a spot where I start interacting. I'm going to force pitching Yorion on their beanstalk. I don't want them catching up with me here. I just want them to die in 4-point chunks. Crashing Footfalls coming in. Rhinos number 5 and 6 for this game. Force of Will going Hellbent here. Is this a spot where I just shove? Yeah, they're fully Hellbent. Yeah, I'm going to force pitching. I think it's Uro. And then Brazen Borrow. Does Brazen Borrowing a blocker even matter? We'll find out shortly. Nope. Okay. And now I can bounce something and play Brazen Borrower all in the end step. They need a sweeper here to be playing this game. Oh yeah. The trust in a plan, even if it's not the plan that you design your deck to have. If you recognize your hand has a plan, give it a shot. We are against a Beanstalk deck with Orcish Bowmaster at least. I don't like Force of Negation. I still just think Teferi is mid. Obviously the card is good, but against the multiple Bowmasters, do I want like 2 Furies and a Force for 3 cards here? I'd like another Force in here. Can we do that? Where does it come from if that's happening? I really like the Omnath Uro. I like the fair play, and I want to go big over the top of this deck if I can. Force of Figuring a Beanstalk seems like a bad deal, though. Okay, I'll bring in 1 Force of Vigor. I have the Leyline Bindings that can deal with that. Fire Ice can deal with... Yeah, alright. I'm not going to go too crazy on this. Okay, I will keep this hand. It doesn't have 3 mana yet, but hopefully we get there. Didn't see a Wasteland last game. Did see a 5-color mana base. Hope that this 5-color deck is not running Wasteland. It's not impossible. It's just greedy. But greed is how you win in mid-range wars when everyone's kind of playing fair, just being insanely greedy. Try and pass. They chose to shuffle that Ponder last turn. Not a Wasteland. Count it. Oh, Footfalls. Okay. I will suspend 1 from my hand. I think I'd rather... Can get Tropical Island here. Then I don't have red mana, which is multiple of the cards in my hand. I could get Taiga, but then I don't have blue. It has to be Trop or Taiga. I have to make a choice right now. I'm going to get the Trop. I think getting these Footfalls in the bank is important. Like we saw last game. They got the Xander's Lounge. Hope they don't have Teferis in their deck. Uh-oh, 3 mana. Something's happening. White mana. My arch nemesis. Okay, Uro. That one's okay. Put in another non-wasteland land. They're fetching, though. Finding a Trop. And playing Ponder. Okay, pretty good stuff. I would love to draw just a fetch land here. Something to send a Violent Outburst. Did not shuffle their Ponder. Come on, fetch land. Tick down my Rhinos. And easy money. Wasn't the fetch land I asked for, but the deck knew what I needed. And I do think Outburst, just making it rain, is better than Teferi. Fetching mana number 5 here. Mystic Sanctuary, targeting. There's only Ponders in there. Alright, cool. Okay, so they can Uro. Uro draws Ponder. I want to let them do all this. I actually want Violent Outburst to be bait. If it resolves, that's fine. If it doesn't, that's a counter they don't have for Teferi next turn. I'm going to let them do all of their card selection because I want this to be able to determine if they have a Force or not. Did not shuffle. There is a universe where there is a Daze deck. Let's just hope that's not the case. Footfalls? Force it, force it, force it. Alright, cool. Oh, well, they have a Force. They're just determining if they care about this card or not. Alright, Force pitching Murktide. Okay, let's see if they have 2 Forces or if I can draw my own. I'll take a land, not upset. White, blue, colorless. Please don't have another Force. Ugh, Force pitching Murktide. Alright. Gonna have to take at least 1 hit from Uro, but I do have another Teferi in the bank here. I did just get 2 2-for-1s out of their hand, but Uro is gonna make up some of those cards right away. And now they have 5 up. They can 1-for-1 with Forces. Brainstorm's pretty good. Lavinia, shit. And I have Fire Ice, but that's annoying. I would love to draw a land here. If I can Teferi and Fire Ice this turn, I'm going to feel really good about life. Land. Yes! Okay. I start with Teferi, and then I'm ready to mess up Lavinia. Okay, white, blue, colorless, Teferi, question mark, bounce, Uro, get it out, Brazen Borrower, rules. I can fire the Lavinia whenever. I got Teferi power. Ooh, this is interesting. I could actually Brazen Borrow the Lavinia, and then they spend resources redeploying it, and then I fire it in the upkeep. That doesn't make sense. No, I'm just going to do the normal thing and kill it. I think I want Taiga Tundra here. Taiga Tundra. Because if they have another Lavinia, I can bounce that one in the upkeep. And I'd rather use the hard answer. Taiga Tundra. Fire, Lavinia, both points on her. Bang. There's an Uro and 4 mystery cards in the hand over there. If they have their own Teferi right now, it's going to mess me up. All right, Teferi. All right, I can Brazen Borrow their Binding, and I'll have Teferi in play so they can't fight over my Footfalls. Refiring Uro here. Okay, I'm going to go to my turn and start the fight now. Petty Theft, Leyline Binding. Just make sure I can still cast Violent Outburst. All right, that's gone. My Rhinos cannot be disrupted. Another can of those. Draw for turn. Uro, I like that. I'm going to minus Teferi on nothing. Beseiju, that messes up the Leyline Binding as well. I think I just pass here. I know they have Leyline Binding, but I care about very little that they have going on. I mean, Uro's bigger than my stuff. I guess I do care about that. Have to figure that out when we get there, though. But if they try to bind Teferi again, the Beseiju's going to blow them out. Yeah, I'm actually just okay with that whole situation. Oh, I'm not okay with that situation. Disappointing. I have one more can of Rhinos in my deck. And here they come. This is it. We're out of them. Glad I didn't board any out this time. Identifying that this was going to be a grindy matchup. Good call. Plus Teferi. I think I want to Uro first. Volk plus Endotha Triomes, all 5. That's what I'm going to leave up. The Force of Vigor is here. Do I want Beseiju for the Leyline Binding? Or do I want to play Beseiju and put Yorin in my hand? I think I'm a little worried about this Leyline Binding. What I hope happens here is that they think Uro's good enough to beat the Rhinos, and they bind Teferi, and then I can kill the Binding again, and then Teferi the Uro again. That Supreme Verdict was a house, though. It usually is. Here's the Uro. They're holding up Leyline Binding there, but they have to do it sorcery speed. I do get to see what they target with Leyline Binding, and if I kill it in response to the trigger, the thing never even leaves. Please go for Teferi. Yes! Alright, cool. Teferi's under there. And I'm going to Beseiju that in the end step, and then untap with Teferi. They could kill a Rhino in response here, but I do get to clear the Uro. We're just playing Modern right now. Beseiju versus Leyline Binding in your control mirrors. Gotta be careful what you put under there, because none of it's reliable. I do have a Plow, and I do have a Teferi, and they do get a land. They found Bayou. Teferi, clear this Uro. Shardless Agent is just reveal my deck to my opponent at this point. A green, green, blue, blue. I'd rather have the fetch land up. Uro trigger. Scalding Tarn's in play. And attack for 4. And I got some cash in the bank here, but I know they've got an Uro too. Carpet of Flowers, oh no. They have infinite mana. Plus 3. Just full Dark Ritual every turn. Well, it's Dark Ritual this turn. It's Black Lotus every turn after that. Or better if I fetch another one. Another Binding. And I have Force of Vigor, so this is another thing that's going to come back one day. Teferi's in the bank. Swords to Plowshare is my Uro. Bummer. They're running out of their cards in hand. Uro with... I think I have to let them... I hate letting them draw into forces here, but they have enough mana and cards in their graveyard to fully commit to the Uro, and I would like to Force of Vigor, unlocking Carpet and Binding, and then bounce the Uro again. I'll respond to the Uro trigger here, and I just hope to sweet Merciful Poseidon that their last cards in hand aren't Force Blue card right now in this moment. Luckily, I don't care about these Shardless Agents anymore. I could have waited and hardcast that, but I don't think Grey Ogre is how I'm winning this game. Nice. All right, Teferi's back in. They do not have a land. They do have a Ponder. If they find Plains Leyline Binding right now, Teferi's gone again. Did not shuffle, and they're passing the turn. Once again, Omnath cares about my lands, and Omnath is now one of my spiciest draws, and we're deep in the dregs here. Bounce the Uro. I'm going to sandbag the fetch lands for future Omnath considerations. Pop Yorion in the grip. And attack with my Rhino. Shardless Agent, still better as a blue or green card in my hand than it is as a 2-2 in play, because I have a 3-1 in play I can use for the same mana. Ooh, you have a Teferi. Okay, we've confirmed they play this card. And it's very good against tokens. It's very mid against Fury. My Rhinos are deleted. They've made it through all 8 Rhinos that I can make. Another Binding. And they will still want the Teferi. And here's Uro again. We're doing stuff. I still think drawing to Omnath is better than thinning one random card. Leyline Binding. Okay, I can bind their bind and unlock my Teferi, which is a thing that I still enjoy doing. I'm going to attack their Teferi first. I'd love it if they use a removal spell in this. Heck yeah. Okay. That just happened. And 2 cards in their hand. Fury. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, force blue card. Last card's in hand. Good job. All right. They have stabilized. I could just put 2/2 Shardless Agent into play here and fucking Omnath. I think I do want to do that, actually. Now we're in the super dregs. Plateau. Oh, dear. Island Plateau. I'm almost out of lands here. The forest. All right, yeah, I'll leave Plateau in the deck. And then I have to reveal my deck to them, but I have a 2/2. Pass the turn. This has been an awesome match. However this ends, this match was a great way to end the league. This is a lot of fun. Here comes Uro out of their graveyard. This one Uro's been looping and pooping over there, going crazy. All my Solitudes are still in the deck. All my Omnaths are still in the deck. Uh-oh, up the beanstalk. That's actually super dangerous. This is how they quickly turn the corner on me. Brazen Borrower. Okay. Leyline Binding. I'll start with that, which costs a tasty little white mana. Exile your Leyline Binding, which gives me my Teferi back, which bounces your Uro, and then I can attack your Teferi, and then I can play Yorion. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I want this land in play, because the Brazen Borrower I could deploy here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yorion. Definitely exiling Teferi. I can at least untap the Shardless Agent. That's free. And then if I exile Binding, they get Binding. It has to take Yorion. Then mine comes back and takes their up the beanstalk. But then what happens? Am I more worried about up the beanstalk or having Yorion in play? I'm worried about their beanstalk. Okay. You can have your little Leyline Binding. Yorion's gone. And I can Brazen Borrow their Leyline Binding to get another round of Yorions at my leisure. Take that beanstalk. Okay. Wild. Insane game. Might come down to decking. I'm favored in that environment. Another beanstalk right away. I just did so much work to deal with that first one. Brainstorm. That card's hardly fair. I don't get to play that one. Carpet of Flowers. Okay. Zillions of mana. Their own Teferi. What do I do with this? They bounce my Leyline Binding. Alright, fine. Teferi's in. I don't think shoving the Brazen Borrower in response as a 3-1 to pressure Teferi is better than someday bouncing this Leyline Binding and getting another round of Yorions. Last card in hand is the Uro. That draws a card, and they don't have green, green, blue, or they do have exactly green, green, blue, blue, but they need to find 2 more cards in their graveyard. Teferi can draw another card too. Another up the beanstalk. All right, decking them is now actually my entire plan. If they want to go in on this many beanstalks, when the game has become this grindy, I'm here for it. I'm at 28 life. I'm not going to deck. I think it's time to bounce their Binding, unlock my Yorion, give them their up the beanstalk back. That's how I'm going to play this turn. Unless information changes in the meantime. Bouncing my Shardless Agent. Okay. And Life from the Loam target, nothing. That's a risky card here. Ardent Plea sucks ass. Okay, Teferi just bounce their Leyline Binding. And they have to draw 3 cards to replay it. Yorion, Flicker, my Teferi, and my Binding. You get a Beanstalk, you draw a card. And I will redeploy the Mighty 2/2 creature. Because everything on this board matters. Anything they have to respond to matters. And is Ardent Plea better to pitch? I'm just going to pass. I know I can't flash these Brazen Borrowers, but they have 15 cards in their deck. And I'm going to exile their Teferi. Oh, right. I said I can't Brazen Borrow. I forgot that Leyline Binding was coming back. Thanks, Moto. Right, now I'm just trying not to time out, because they need to run out of cards in their deck before I run out of cards. Or run out of minutes on my clock. There's the Binding. Draw 3 cards. And I'm actually going to bounce Binding in response to its trigger, so it doesn't even get to take things, and then they have to draw 3 more cards to play it again. I'm going to make them feast on their greedy card advantage. This is like making a kid smoke the whole pack. Petty Theft, the Binding. Boing. Teferi never even leaves play here, so they can't respond. 11 cards in your deck. Here they go again. 8 cards in your deck. I will respond to this one by playing the Brazen Borrower from Exile. Or, no, I'm not. Because if they Force of Will a Brazen Borrower from Exile, that's another 3 cards they have to draw. Yeah, that's fine. 8 cards in their deck. They would need an Endurance just to reset some of these cards. And if they have something like way over the top, like Nexus of Fate, which is a card that modern Bean Mirrors are boarding in, I'd be surprised to see it in Legacy, though. I've also passed them on my clock, which is great. Uro trigger, 7 cards in your deck. Lavinia, that's fine. I got plenty of lands, and no zeros left in the deck. They got 7 in hand, 7 in deck. Uro draws a card, whether you like it or not, every time he attacks. Brazen Borrower, jump in there. All my Omnaths are still in there somewhere, too. All 4 of them. There's a Solitude, love that. Okay, I'm going to start with Brazen Borrower. Petty Theft, target the Leyline Binding. Force of Negation, okay. That's allowed to happen. And then Solitude, try to exile this Uro. They're pitching to a Force for that. Drawing 3 cards. Not much left in their deck. And Brazen Borrower can't block, might as well attack. Everything else is on slow down Uro duty. Okay, I'm at 28. Which is 6 goes into 28 5 times. They only have 3 cards in their deck. Even if Uro just runs completely amok here, they're going to run out of cards before I run out of life points. A Wasteland all of a sudden. Glad that didn't show up earlier. I no longer care about it. Yeah, they better have some tech here. 2 cards left in their deck. I'll trade with Lavinia, that's fine. I am not worried about my life total. And then it's my turn. You got 2 cards in your deck. I have a Leyline Binding. I'm going to try to Binding their Binding, unlocking my Teferi. They said in the chat this was their trophy match, and decking hurts, and yeah, trying to Leyline Bind my Leyline Bind. And a little too hungry. They ate too many beans. That can happen. That was an incredible last match for a 4-1 record. Losing to Wasteland Lock and beating everyone who tried to play Magic against me. That's a strong endorsement of this deck. Everything this deck's supposed to do happened. Like, deal with my 8 power that happens on turn 3 with incredible reliability. Oh, by the way, Omnath. Oh, by the way, Solitude. This deck is super cool. We did not play against any combo, which I think I'd be a little worried about. You basically get your 8 forces and hope for the best against combo. You could, in a deck like this, put like 2 Lavinias and 2 Collector Oofs in your sideboard to cascade into, and then you just like always have the Hate Bear on turn 3. That is a juke you can do. That still makes your first 3 turns pretty shitty, but that does exist if you're interested in pursuing it, if there's a lot of combo in your metagame. Awesome deck, Vlandric. Thank you for asking me to play it. Just missed the trophy a little bit. I have a very good record across multiple formats with this exact archetype, and That did not change today. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out Coalesce Apparel for the BoshNRoll shirt. Check out the Patreon to support the channel, and I'll see you next time.